many of you are blamers? How many of you, when something goes wrong, the first thing you want to know is whose fault it is? Hi, my name is Brene. I'm a blamer. Let me just tell you this quick story. So this is a couple of years ago when I first realized the magnitude to which I blame. I'm in my house. I have on white slacks and a pink sweater set, and I'm drinking a cup of coffee in my kitchen. It's a full cup of coffee. I drop it on the tile floor. It goes into a million pieces, splashes up all over me. And the first, a millisecond after it hit the floor, right out of my mouth is this: "Damn you, Steve." He was my husband. Because let me tell you how fast this works for me. So Steve plays water polo with a group of friends, and the night before he went to go play water polo. And I said, hey, make sure you come back at 10, because I can never fall asleep until you're home. And he got back like at 10:30. And so I went to bed a little bit later than I thought. Ergo, my second cup of coffee that I probably would not be having had he come home when we discussed. Therefore, and so the rest of the story is I'm cleaning up the kitchen. Steve calls, caller ID. I'm like, hey. He's like, hey, what's going on, babe? What's going on? So I'll tell you exactly what's going on. I'm cleaning up the coffee that spilled all like dial tone. Because he knows. How many of you go to that place when something bad happens, the first thing you want to know is whose fault is it? I'd rather it be my fault than no one's fault. Because why? Why? Because it gives us some semblance of control. But here, if you enjoy blaming, this is where you should stick your fingers in your ear and do the no thing, because I'm getting ready to ruin it for you. Because here's what we know from the research. Blame is simply the discharging of discomfort and pain. It has an inverse relationship with accountability. Accountability, by definition, is a vulnerable process. It means me calling you and saying, hey, my feelings were really hurt about this, and talking. It's not blaming. Blaming is simply a way that we discharge anger. People who blame a lot seldom have the tenacity and grit to actually hold people accountable, because we expend all of our energy raging for 15 seconds and figuring out whose fault something is. And blaming is very corrosive in relationships, and it's one of the reasons we miss our opportunities for empathy. Because when something happens and we're hearing a story, we're not really listening. We're in the place where I was, making the connections as quickly as we can about whose fault something was.
Now in unity, it's surprising that not every unity minister and every unity church says the same thing. We have, being that unity is the big umbrella, we have different opinions. And at things like unity conventions, ministers love to get together and tell you their opinion and work out stuff. In the convention, there was something called the Identity Clarification Team. Don't you love that name? Identity Clarification Team, say that 3 times fast. In 2005, Reverend Phil Pearson had the perfect answer to the debate about explain how we are in the whole, are we Christians? What's Christianity through the lens of unity? He said, from way back when Charles and Myrtle, the co-founders of Unity, were beginning to teach, unity has always been an approach to Christianity. So everybody on the team, 12 people who maybe were on the left, 12 people were on the right of whatever all the issue was, they could all get behind that. So unity is an approach to Christianity. And I'm going to take this scripture, God is faithful. By her you are called into the fellowship of his daughter, Jesus Christ our Lord. God is faithful. By God we are called into the fellowship of the inner Christ, right? The Christ within us. And when I say Lord, I guess it's just some respect to the light within, the voice of wisdom within. And I'm going to call it the Fellowship of Open Hearts, because I like that. And what is it to be called to this fellowship? To be called to the Fellowship of Open Hearts, what does that mean? I'm going to say this. To be in the fellowship, we need to know the difference between falling apart and wrong. To be in the fellowship of open hearts, we want to know and live in the difference between things are falling apart and things are wrong. How do we do that? What is the difference? Well, here's one difference: forgiveness. All right. Now, I'm going to give a little warning. I'm going to talk about feelings. I know. And I'm going to talk about uncomfortable feelings, and some of the things I'm going to talk about may bring up feelings of uncomfortableness in you, because I'm going to be a little bit vulnerable, and I'm going to show you the side of me that some of you would rather not see. So what I'm saying is, that's okay. Just notice if you feel uncomfortable. Just notice it, file it away and say, I don't like it when she does that. But please know, I'm okay. I have plenty of therapists and people who help me, so you don't feel like you have to rescue me. All right. This is about forgiveness and about that video. Yesterday, Roland and I came over here to work on the songs because the universe decided it would be good for Deb and Chris to be gone on the same Sunday. And so I tried a few people who might be able to come and do music for us, and as it happened, they were also not able. And I decided, okay, we'll do some videos. And Brian was willing to sing to them. He was going to be our song leader, so I knew I had that. And so Roland and I were working on the videos. And so this was, I brought over the Brene Brown video and said, okay, I'm real excited, I'm going to use this. So he did that. And so about half an hour after that, I'm up there, and let me just tell you, something happened to my computer. I know, you're shocked. Or something happened on my computer where we now have Windows 10 because, as Roland says, I don't want to be the old guy who's just catching up. So we have Windows 10 on 2 of my laptops, all the computers around, but I think there's a little glitch because when I was trying to email him a link to the video I had picked out, I was able to email one link, and then from then on, whenever I tried to email a link, every time I would put the link, I would paste the link into my email on AOL. Yes, apparently I still have AOL. I'm still a little bit in the dark ages. And it would go, it would dissolve AOL, would disappear in front of my eyes, and it would leave the screen, and I would go to wherever I was trying to paste the link. And because I wanted to make sure, I probably did it 10 times. And every time I got a little more irritated. And I was up in the booth, and I kept saying, and Roland said, well, I can do it. And I'm like, well, it doesn't work for me. What's wrong? It doesn't work on the white computer. It doesn't work on the laptop. It doesn't work on this. And I was getting upset. So I was complaining, and he, why wouldn't he, thought I was complaining about him, or he couldn't hang up on me because I was right there in the booth with him. And he thought I was blaming him. And eventually he said, because he's a patient man and there was no escape right then, I'm just trying to help. It seems as if when I try to help, you get mad whenever I offer to help. And so I thought about it and realized that it was possible that there was some truth in that. And so I said, well, I was just trying to say that I was mad and I wasn't actually blaming you, but I was irritated, I admit it. So anyway, I thought about it and I asked for understanding and we moved on. And I was actually able to ask for help, and I had 3 other videos picked out for singing, and he came up with those, which, trust me, were a lot better. I wasn't able to find, I kept looking for our unity songs, and I'd find the videos, but I wouldn't find the words, and I would find somebody with a key that nobody on earth could match, and things like that. So Roland came up with the 3 videos because I let him, and I was willing to let him help me. And the thing that I wanted to recognize is that what struck me again today is the piece in that video, and I've seen that video a lot, about the difference between blame and accountability. Because it actually is way easier to blame than to hold people accountable. And I was able to experience myself this very morning doing a little blame thing. Let's see. So to bring you up to date, Roland and I and Brian are going through the videos. And I had picked the perfect place to stop it. And Brian had a different idea about where to stop the video. And really, that was fine. But I found myself getting irritated and doing this interesting thing. Like, okay, whatever you want. And I left. I mean, I did have to go get something at my house, but I left. And I'm walking over there and thinking, I'm doing just what that video said. I am not being willing to stand in accountability for somebody who likes me and isn't even mad at me and come back and say, I just want to be in on this because we picked it. And I really am, totally willing to let you have what you want and whatever it was. But it was so amazing to me that my instinct was to, take up my toys and go. That kind of like, because all of our uncomfortable feelings are so uncomfortable. We don't like them. We are so not into feeling angry or irritated or blaming. I mean, it may seem like, really, probably all of us here, we don't really like to be bitchy. We don't enjoy it. So we'd rather do almost anything else. And sometimes when it comes out that way, when we see our habit, we don't want to do that. But we see it comes out that way, and that's why it's a good idea to watch that video 20 times. And it's a good idea it's a wonderful idea to catch yourself in it when you're thinking about it, because then you can interrupt it. And I realized, wait a minute, I'm not even that mad. I can come back and hold us all accountable and say, you know what, I didn't even say I want to be in it. I just came back and said, all right, let's keep working on this. And we all worked on it together and came up with the way it was going to be. And I thought it actually ended up really great for, for the circumstances and the band gone and everything. I thought it worked out great. And I believe that you are just like me. I'm pretty sure you may not get irritated at the same things, but I'm pretty sure that you feel just as uncomfortable when these things happen. And forgiveness and recognition is our spiritual work. How many times did Jesus in the New Testament talk about forgiveness? How many times? That's you cannot say that's not a teaching. That is probably one of the main teachings of the New Testament. It's definitely one of the main teachings of A Course in Miracles. Forgiveness. And in fact, the Course in Miracles says the only person you can forgive is yourself. That's what you got to move on, which is a lot of why I like to hammer this. So, to be in the fellowship of open hearts, you need to know the difference between things falling apart and things being wrong. Another difference is allowing. I had a hard time coming up with the word, but the best word I could come up with is allowing. Not fighting with what is, also known as non-resistance. Byron Katie says, when I fight with reality, I'm wrong, but only 100% of the time. So that's what I mean by allowing. Allowing things to be the way they are. I've talked before about how much energy I've noticed I expend on not being okay with the way things are. And I'm not talking about lying in bed all day and just letting everything happen. I'm talking about even when you engage, things don't always go exactly how you want them to go. And allowing it to be that way. I have a little story about that. This Monday, I woke up and I was feeling a little funky. And then I remembered it was an anniversary of something that was sad for me. And because I remembered it was an anniversary, I allowed myself to feel that way. I just said, oh yeah, it's okay. You have a reason why you might feel less than 100%, less than 100%. And it was interesting because I allowed myself and some space opened up. And that extra judgy thing, which I still think I don't have, but I have, that extra judgy thing about browbeating myself for not being happy or whatever it is, and we do it a lot in our new thought stuff, with our new thought teachings, we get down in ourselves if we are not happy, whole, and going for it 100%. We're everything, we're every day. We're the good day, the bad day, the middle day, and all of that is okay. And all of our really awesome spiritual teachers are telling us everything is here for your spiritual evolution. Everything is here for your spiritual evolution. Every day, every mood. That means everything outside of you and everything inside of you. The funky feeling that comes up inside of you. That cannot possibly be here for my spiritual evolution. My spiritual evolution is supposed to be so that I never have to feel that way again. I'm very sorry to tell you. No. The funky feeling is also here for your spiritual evolution. To accept it. And it was so interesting that when I gave myself, okay, it's a reason you feel funky, and I let myself do whatever it was I needed to do to feel the feeling even just for a little bit and acknowledge it and did my regular, it was nice, it was a day off, so I had a little freedom on the day, but I went to the Y, did the stuff I needed to do, and the whole day was a different kind of a day because I didn't have that extra layer of judging, no, you shouldn't be this way. You should be the other way. You should be the perfect you. You should be the happy you. You should at least be the unbitchy you. And so, allowing. And I'll tell you what, if you want a big dose of allowing, just go online and go to that Byron Katie, the work stuff. She'll just take you through. Everything you need to do is online. She has a website. It's all free. To be in the fellowship of open hearts, you need to know the difference between things falling apart and things being wrong. One more difference I want to talk about today is curiosity. This is what Pema Chodron says. Difficulties are inevitable and helpful. Doesn't some problem like this one, whatever, pick your problem, happen every day of your life in major and minor ways, yet for some reason we keep thinking something has gone wrong? She says that the teachings she's learned, the Buddhist teachings, are really awesome about working out what is happening as our path of awakening, rather than treating your life experiences as some kind of deviation from what is supposed to be happening. The more difficulties you have, the greater the opportunity. More transformation is possible. Here's why. Because the difficult things provoke our habits, and when we walk the path with curiosity and observation, then the difficult things are there to show us where we're still in a habit. You know, my habit, you saw that thing about blaming. Oh my God, that is so me that Roland says sometimes, I'm not Steve. The first time he said it, I didn't know what he was talking about. And then, like, he said, you know, Steve, the video. I'm like, oh. So, curiosity. Curiosity is such a good word. If I have, well, let's see, what did I do this morning? Wow, I'm going to have some curiosity over the fact that I went into a little blaming. And if I have curiosity, instead of that extra layer of, no, you didn't go there this time, you didn't go to where you wanted to go, curiosity brings us out. You know, just cultivate a little curiosity. I wonder how I'm going to react this afternoon, because I'm pretty sure something's going to irritate me. I wonder what I'm going to do the next time something doesn't go my way. Who knows? Maybe I'll be happy, maybe I'll be blamey. But if I have curiosity about it, I can recognize it quicker. You know, if I have curiosity instead of judgment about it, just cultivating that curiosity makes it way better of a chance that I will be open-hearted and I'll be able to be in the fellowship of the open heart. Come on in, everybody. I mean, every two of you. Anyway, so I'm going to end with a joke, because the last thing you need is always the thing you need is humor. So some days are really good. You wake up and you just feel the gloriousness, like Thursday. I rode my bike. I found a new place. I found a new pool that everybody else knew about for a long time, but I saw the pool by the path, and I went there, and they had a lazy river, and I rode an inner tube, and it was so fun. Some days are like that. And then there's another day. You wake up on Saturday, and you have a lot to do, and things are crabby, whatever. Okay? Some days are good. Some days are bad. But the thing to remember is they just keep coming at you, and they pass really short and fast, just like Ramones songs. I knew 2 people might get that. Let's take an offering for unity.